Hello, I think we're live. Okay. Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
Hello. Oh my gosh. Hi.
Wow. So, Missy,
We always start making noise and saying, hi and getting excited. And I think the girls then immediately kind of like jump up and are like, oh shit, what's happening? Are we doing something? Are we partying? Like, what's going on?
Little camera hugs.
Yeah, they are. They're adorable.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
As you trickle in, get your warm, toasty beverages. It's much cooler today where we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we actually had to put on some, or at least I had to put on some kind of like thing. And, most of the heat releases from the head. So Angelina,
right, so I'm okay.
Obviously, she put on her hat to take care of herself, as if any heat ever escapes that cousin it on top of your head.
Well, although I never sweat on my head, like ever.
No.
I don't think I have sweat glands up there.
Well, I don't think you'd ever know because it'd get caught in the hair.
That's true.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Melissa, Kimmy, T, Claire, Fitchette. Hello. Oh my God.
So you guys, I just posted, I'm still getting all the details ready for our Zoom party.
Yay.
I have a couple people's emails already. Thank you. If you haven't already, go on the stories. I'm going to have the stories up all day on our Instagram account. It's colt.and.ange. Go on, DM me your email address so I can send you your private link when I have it all ready. We're going to come up with better details, but all we know is it's going to be a onesie party, 7 p.m. on Sunday.
Exactly. I say, think of it as we were talking about it yesterday, and every day since we talked about it before, as think of it like a live show where we're all there and included. We'll all be in gallery view, so make sure you got that onesie.
Yeah, we'll have a little organization to it, so we're all not, screaming.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like a live show.
We'll play some games. Maybe we can answer their questions like live, talk live. So we'll bring, so everyone gets a chance to see each other in the community.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really exciting. I'm super stoked. So everybody, it's Saturday at what time?
Sunday.
Oh, we're doing it Sunday.
Sunday at our normal time. So though the actual day of honor is October 10th, we're celebrating the next night.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
But it'll be great.
I had to ask because I clearly don't pay attention well enough. I was up so late last night, y'all. We got in bed at 9:30, and then what was it, 10? Either way,
we got in bed.
We never get in bed early because we're kind of on that, performer's clock.
But we said let's start going to bed early, and we tried to pass out early.
Yeah, it didn't take.
You had a terrible night's sleep. I'm not sure.
No, I had a great night's sleep. I had a great morning sleep.
Yeah,
because I fell asleep for a little bit.
Turning, and he was still up at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, John texted me in the middle of the night. One of our friends, JD Sevs on here, texted me and was, we talked for a second, and then I was like, oh no, I'm up. Do you ever have that feeling where you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, I know for us, it's a very like, don't go to the bathroom. Don't go to the bathroom, because if I go to the bathroom, I'm going to be awake.
Really?
Yeah.
See, if I have any pee in my bladder,
that's true.
I cannot sleep. Like, it has to come out. The second I'm aware of it, it's over.
No, especially in the morning, like when I get up with Missy.
Really?
Because Missy wakes up at 7:30 every morning, like an alarm clock, like a rooster.
On the dot.
And then
she has to pee.
She just has to pee. And then she comes back for like 30 minutes, and then she has to poop. And
she will not do it together in the morning.
Knowing that that's happening, I'm always like, okay, all right, well, why even go to sleep? Like, let's just kind of do that thing where you're like, I'm going to lay here with my eyes closed because it's very relaxing, but I know I'm going to have to get up. And then
I wish we could get them on the same schedule, because Maya will sleep till the cows come home. Till the rooster starts roosting, I just made that up. But, but Missy's the one that's like, she's got to do everything privately. But yeah, you got like a weird sleep. Hi, Maya.
Yeah, Maya and I were up until 4:30.
Oh my gosh.
Once that happened.
Well, I'm glad you slept in a little bit.
Yeah. I just took care of everything this morning.
Hey guys, good morning. Fitchette, don't worry if you don't have a onesie for the party.
Yeah.
You could wear I guess that's inappropriate. I was gonna say you could wear your birthday suit. You could wear anything you want. We're posting it on YouTube.
You can't wear that.
So.
Don't wear that. Don't wear that. Nothing against your birthday suit. Just don't.
We do have to post it on YouTube.
Yeah,
so
we
you
have
to blur out the whole.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Any kind of costume you'd like. Valerie. Oh, Val. Yeah, we're doing. I thought I told you on Sunday. Maybe not. We're doing a Part of Love 1 year anniversary. You guys are 1 year.
But we're doing it on the Zoom call.
Yes, our 1 year anniversary is on the 10th, but the 11th is our normal Sunday night get together.
Yeah.
So we figured Zoom party. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. The holiday onesie land Zoom party, or a costume party since it's Halloween.
Costumes maybe also invited. I don't know. We'll see.
If you happen to have a Halloween onesie, I mean the idea I think came from Claire, wasn't it? Claire, wasn't it talking about your dinosaur onesie?
Claire has a dinosaur onesie. That's going to be hard to compete with, but it's going to be awesome. We're going to figure out more details, but
also if you have a sleeping bag, then technically you're in a caterpillar onesie.
That's true.
So, use your imagination.
Totally. Hey, Kelly.
Bare face. We gotta do this.
Hey, guys. Ooh, a koala. That's cool.
That's koala cool. Onesie? Oh, shit. All right. So we know that Tuesdays are the days when we spend more time really diving into the relationship questions and into the love stuff. And Ange had some really good topics to talk about today. She has 2 of them, but I'm not positive that we're going to get to both of them because
we might not get to both of them. But if you guys too chime in, and if there is a question, because some of this is based off of questions I've gotten all week from you guys. So if you do have a question that's on your heart, throw it in the comments and let's talk about it.
Yeah.
But the thing that I wanted to talk about, because I've been chatting with a couple different people, some are here and some are not here, but I hear this a lot. I'm still in love with my ex. I can't get over him, her, whoever, they, and I'm having a hard time moving on. And I think that, how common is that, right? I've been through that.
Very.
You've been through that.
Yeah.
And now I can look back, and these are my thoughts at least. We were in love with the idea of them, right? Mm-hmm. So when something is over, even if it was the most traumatic, horrible ending ever, which we have both had.
Yes.
You romanticize it, right? It's so easy to forget all of the freaking bullshit that happened, all of the pain you went through, all of the mistreatment, all of the whatever it was. You forget it for some reason. And then we romanticize these people when really they're not. The season is over, Yeah. The relationship is past its due date. I
think the best quote that I've ever heard about this, I heard about this 15 years ago, and a great song and song lyrics, have gotten so many of us through so many hard times because they give you a reference point, right? They give you a new reference point, and it's by Ryan Montblow, and he says, in a song called Just Perfect, he says, I know you're not perfect, but I built you up that way. And then a following lyric, he says, and I hear that time heals all things. It sure feels like time kills all things bad about you.
Isn't that the truth?
I just die over that poetry of a line, because that's, I think, what happens. At least in every case I've ever heard of, it's that I think a large factor of it is that over time, the pain diminishes, but as the pain diminishes in our heads and we start to kind of forget what that feels like, we then replace that and supplant that with this idea that they were so good, and we look at all those good moments and that comfort that we no longer have, because we think, oh, well, we're in pain now. That pain wasn't so bad, and then we go back, and it is fucking terrible, and then we are in that same position, and we're like, why did I do this? I'm so stupid, and it's always about that mistake. But I love that. I love that lyric because I think it
perfectly describes it.
Yeah.
There have even been times where, I think the older I got, the more clear I got on, okay, it is not healthy for me to be with this person, like, or not even healthy. Like, I just don't choose this anymore. I'm not in love anymore, or whatever it is. But it doesn't make it easier. And so, I had one breakup that, again, I was like, I know this is the right thing. It actually was not like this hurtful, horrible situation. It just wasn't right for me. And still, for the longest time afterwards, I had to have these talks and be like, Angelina, sit down. Do not dial the phone. Yes, you had fun, and I'd be like, yeah, but I'm so sad right now. I'd rather not be alone.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what are you doing? Like, life will move on. You have beautiful friends. You have support. Stop it. Like, you're romanticizing, this person just because you are uncomfortable right now.
Yeah, we romanticize, but that's the thing. And y'all, let us know, have you been through this? Obviously, I think we all have, but what do you think that main thing, like, what's your main thing that you look back on in your relationships and that you're thinking about, all the time? Because I think that until we have our situation, as we talk about with self-awareness, with those things, it also still doesn't, even once you get those things, it's not going to make it perfectly easy.
No.
And I think that what you just described is so perfect. You knew yourself. You knew that this relationship was wrong. Mm-hmm. You knew that this was not healthy for you.
Right.
In the long run, but because, and again, this is why we started this channel. This is why we started Part of Love in general, and the whole consulting business and the whole idea of where it's going to go, because we're so tired of people getting shitty advice from other people who aren't living that life.
Yeah.
It is not easy just because you know these things. And just because you know those things, you romanticized it because you were told, well, this person on paper does these things. You shouldn't want more.
Right.
Why you should settle. We're told that we should just settle for the things on paper that, worked for somebody else. But
again, you guys, it doesn't mean that you don't. We can absolutely still have love for our exes, right? Because love comes in such variable degrees of, like, different kinds of thing. There's like, you can love someone. I send all of my exes love. Mm-hmm. I think you do as well.
100%.
I don't wish anyone, harm.
I don't wish anyone harm. It's harder to send love to some exes than others.
No, of course. But I feel like, of course. But, I think you might always have an attachment to somebody, and rightfully so, because they brought you so far in your life. They were there for an important season, whatever that season was. You learned a lot from each other. You gave a lot to each other. Of course, you're going to love them. But is it like, are you in love with them? Should you stay with them? Absolutely not, And you will find love that trumps that, because the more complete of a circle of love that you have for someone else, you're going to go, and you're going to easily be able to go, well, of course I send them love. We're not going to talk on the phone every afternoon. But,
or ever again. But I think that's such an important thing. And I say that a lot because there are so many things that they are so important. I don't know how to grade them just yet, but that idea of being like, no, I need them to help figure out myself. I know that was a problem that I had for a while.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Where I would, like, let's say with, my college, the college level love.
Right.
Or college age love that lasted a few years and was one of my first, I would say my first big love.
Right.
And once we broke up, I couldn't understand because I wasn't dealing with so many of my own issues, and because I wasn't looking inwardly, I couldn't understand what wasn't working. I knew I was unhappy. And I talked about this in the Thursday video. I knew I was unhappy in that relationship.
Right.
I knew I was unfulfilled. I knew that I didn't like things that she did. I knew that she didn't like things that I did, but I wasn't willing to change them. I knew so many of these things, but I ignored them. We talk about instincts on here a lot of times, and I was so against dealing with that. So then after we broke up, I called her and was like, I would constantly be like, you're the person who knows me best. She's not. They're not. The person that you broke up with doesn't know you as well as you do. That's why you're exes. And even if they broke it off, that's neither here nor there. But especially if you did it, or if you felt that before, that's about you looking internally and taking that time and looking outward and going, oh, okay, these are the things that I was unfulfilled in that relationship. And again, goes back to writing it down, right?
Yeah.
Step 1, write it down.
Yeah, it's that constant self-evaluation. Yeah, write it down. What am I actually missing about this person? Is it just basic companionship? Is it just sexual? Is it just the feeling of not having to be alone, period? Which is fine.
And it could be, and I think it's more specific a lot of times. I know for me, I was like, I miss and I mean, literally, not to be vulgar, but sometimes it was just I miss having sex, or I miss the, laughter, or I miss these things. Be specific about it, because a lot of those things are taken care of in other situations. And if it's the larger things of comfort and that, if you look at your list of things that they made for you, or that they gave to you, feel, and it just says comfort, there's a big, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's a big red flag that we can look at. But if we leave it in our minds and we say, oh, I understand this, I know these things, it doesn't actually.
Yeah. If you literally write down, and I've done this, if you write down the pros and cons of somebody, whether you're still together and contemplating, going on with your relationship, or if you've already broken up, if you really, really honestly write down the pros and cons, and you're not together, you're probably going to end up with more cons, if you're truly being honest with yourself, because your self-worth, or whatever it is, or your actual overall happiness and fulfillment, that is worth so much. And that clearly is not getting fulfilled if to some degree.
I'll say I write down a to-do list every single day. And I think I've talked about this before, but there are I shouldn't say every single day. Most days I write a to-do list, and then I can look at that and it tells me where to go, how to move forward. But then the last couple of days, for some reason, I was just I felt like I was floating in the world, and I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not doing enough. Right. And then you and I become at tension because I feel that I'm not contributing enough, or you feel you're not contributing enough, or whatever that is. But because I didn't have a clear path to what I needed to do, and I knew in my head, okay, I need to dance today. I want to take this class. I should do this. But then by the time you get there, you're like, well, what kind of dance do I? And then you start floating. Right. But when you write it down, it gives you a clear path. And I think that's something with relationships that is entirely applicable to this situation.
It's almost I want to make some sort of planner, there's a daily planner. You can organize your mornings and things. If there was a planner for relationships, right? And it was mainly self relationship with yourself today, and then idea. Evaluating other relationships, friends, family, whatever. I don't know, just to help you sift through your thoughts,
just once a day, a little daily journal. Maybe we'll make a Part of Love daily emotional journal.
Check-in.
Relationship check-in.
Just something to force you to go, sometimes when you buy something or have a tangible thing and it's not just on the phone, I tend to feel like I have to open this and use it and, force myself to put pen to paper. Yeah. I think that's why we have 1,000 journals and Post-its around the house.
My whole section over here is just set up with, there's a small stack of books and then a small stack of journals right next to it, because I like to be hyper organized, so I have a different journal for every focus. All right, so Kelly, it takes time to heal. You can't rush it. It just gets easier one day. Personally, I went from hurting over our problems to realizing that he wasn't the right partner. Absolutely.
Kelly's a smart one. Yeah, it's the more you know, though, and when you know better, right? When you know better, you do better. You you grow. When you have to like, if you write it down and you have to look at the paper, you cannot deny it, right? So you have to grow. Otherwise, you're like fully abandoning yourself, and we don't want that.
Yeah, you don't want to abandon yourself.
I'm abandoning.
Absolutely not.
No, true.
Of course. Well, I mean, again, that's why we constantly talk about this. Put pen to paper so it is out there in front of you. It's like talking to somebody about it. And it's the cheapest form of therapy there is.
Yeah.
Because you don't even have to like talk to a friend and hope that they understand you. Mm-hmm. You understand you.
You just pick it up.
Just write it down and look at it and go, oh shit, that's what I feel. that is. Now, there is a very important thing here. You have to be brutally honest in these pages. And whether that means, and I know that I used to not be brutally honest in my journals because because I would save them and I was scared somebody would look at them.
Oh.
And I was like, nope, no, I'm not going to tell you.
Safe.
Or maybe you just needed write it down, keep it in a private spot. And then as you grow past that, tear that shit out and throw it away. Be done with it.
Be done with it.
I mean, I prefer to keep them now just because I like looking back and being like, oh my God, I can't believe like I was so upset about this thing that I would never have remembered had I not looked at this.
Right.
But again, it just puts it into perspective. And that's the thing we're all chasing. We're all chasing, well, a few things, but one of them is self-awareness, self-love, and perspective. And really those things are all very intertwined. Let's go to the comments. Hi, Mom. Once I started healing, my feelings were removed from the situation. I could look at the things he did that I once made excuses for because I loved him and realized how blind I was because of that. Also with that, and I love that, but also with that, we say, well, I let this slide because I loved them. Mm-hmm. But again, is that really why we did it? Because this is that blanket statement that we give. And Kelly, obviously I'm in no way, condemning you. I understand what you're saying, but I want us as a community, I want us as the part of love, family, to look deeper at these things. We say things like, well, it was because I loved you. I ignored so many things because I loved you, but it's not that. It's that we suppress so many things because we want them to be something else. We want them to be other things. We suppress those things. And I think that love, again, this unactionable thing, and Kelly, you have taken so much action, especially, since we've talked, but with regards to just this statement as a blanket statement for, well, because I loved them, I did this. Mm-hmm. But it's so much more than that. It's because we gave somebody else more power over our lives and ourselves than
we gave away our power. It's easy to do. It's easy to
it's actually really hard not to do.
Right. Right. Especially because, again, it goes back to like how we've all been trained, how we've all been raised, right? We're like trained to kind of abandon our own intuition. And right. It's like we come into the world like so like following our intuition, following our gut. And then we're told, no, like you have to do these certain things, and we tame ourselves. Right. Yeah. So you stop listening to yourself. But I mean, I went through a situation like that when I was in my early 20s, or wasn't in my early 20s. No, I was like a freaking teenager, but my first like adult relationship, and this person was much older than me. It was, horribly abusive, but it was hard to see that because I thought, oh, I love him and he loves me. So you let it slide. I think I wrote like a blog post about this a couple months ago, but like we let it slide because we say, well, he loves me. Meanwhile, he makes me feel bad about myself, makes fun of me. I'm terrified to do anything. I'm walking on eggshells. I feel horrible about myself. And you just slowly start to abandon yourself, but you're like, oh, but he loves me. So I guess it's okay. What? Who the hell told you that was love? You know, but I thought it was.
Well, I think we've misplaced or conflated the words, the very, very important and special word love with time spent together and some attraction. Like suddenly suddenly that's what love is. Like, well,
Right?
I'm pretty attracted to this person in some way, shape, or form.
History, though.
Yeah.
Oh God. You know, get a dog. I did. Changed everything.
Changed everything. Really, really put everything in perspective. Well, because I'll say you love Missy. You love Missy. And when we met, that was one of the things where I really learned what love was, because she would have easily kicked me to the fucking curb.
Oh yeah.
Had I not.
There's just no, and I easily got, clear with a lot of prospects, in dating since, when I got Missy, which Missy is beautiful and 14 years old. So this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
But, if I met someone that was either weird with dogs or was like, she's not sleeping in the bed, get the fuck out of my house. It's not your bed.
Yeah.
Leave.
It's her bed.
It's her bed. Yeah. This is my fucking kid. And like, if you don't treat her like a princess, it's over, and it just made things very easy for me. I could see people so clearly.
But again, there's a physicalization, there's an actionable thing that happened. And we talk about this all the time. Pick things that are your lines that you will not cross. And how many lines do we give away for other people? How many of our loved ones do we put into shitty situations for these other people? Mm-hmm. If you don't have, now we talk a lot about not living in absolutes. We are talking about do not live entirely in absolutes. There are certain things like I absolutely, if you whoever you are, punch my wife in the face, I'm gonna lose my shit. Like that's an absolute. Like if you
how I hurt you might change.
Yes,
though, you know, so that
there's not an absolute of I will do A if B happens, but I will not place you, whoever you are, before this. And if you are not kind and a fan of this, like be on your merry fucking way, And I think knowing though that first and foremost, we have to start doing that for us.
Yes.
We have to treat us as those things that are our absolutes, right? Obviously, there are situations that change. There are things that change, but certain absolutes do need to exist so that you have a compass moving forward. I loved when I realized that I said something early on in our relationship and you were like, are you fucking crazy? No, that's not how this works. And it was right after I'd gotten Maya, and it was just because of the way that I, was raised around dogs, and not just, in my mom's house and my dad's house, lived up in the country. And, it was just a very different way of looking at pets. And you hold Missy and you're like, this is a life that I took responsibility for. It is my responsibility to give her the best life. She is now my kid. She's my little baby.
No, I do. I remember that shift, and I remember being like, I'll take them both. You can get out. Or get on board, and you did, obviously.
Of course.
But now you're the mushiest daddy.
Yeah. Whatever. Maya got up last night when I woke up, and she was like, Dad, go to sleep. And I was like, I know, I'm up. I'm gonna be on my phone for a second. She got out of her bed, which is at the foot of our bed, came up and crawled into the covers next to me and just laid down. And I was like, cutie. Oh my God. Oh my God, I love you so much.
They're just the greatest thing in the world. But they are honestly such a God, our girls are everything, and I know that some of you feel the same way about your own furry kids, but like they teach you so much about yourself and about love and about how to love. Like having that crazy love for Missy at that young age was everything to me, because then it was just a compass of like, oh, if I can love her that way, I should also want that for myself. And you start to look at the world through that lens, and it just changed everything. I
know we've gone off on a tangent, but I absolutely love it when this happens. So this is one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot lately. I don't get on social media a lot lately. I apologize about that, but Ange takes care of Ours, Colt@Colt.and.Ange on Instagram. Check it out.
Doing the best I can.
Yeah, wait, you're fucking nailing it. It looks beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Because I signed on the other day and looked at it. But either way, tangent on a tangent. We see so many things about dogs on Instagram and on the internet that are like, if you should try and love the way that a dog loves you, because dogs have this they're constantly forgiving, they're constantly so unconditional love. But we don't talk about the fact that like we should also do that for them.
Right. Right.
Like, the memes are always like, try to love the world like a dog loves you. And you're like, no, just love them. Just love them back.
Try to reciprocate it first.
Just even try and do that back and then do it for yourself. I feel like the sphere of love is this concept where we go out to the world with you. I shall love everyone. Fuck me though. Like I'm fine. I don't worry about okay. That's not how it works.
Does anyone else like that Charlton Heston?
I do.
Situation because I like it too. I think most of these people are too young to know who Charlton Heston is.
Yeah, but, yeah, I think so. But yeah, I was just thinking about this concept of, maybe this is a video, but love has to start as an atom. Like it is so small, and it has to then multiply out until it takes some kind of shape that's tangible that you can understand. And then it grows and it can be in you, and then it can grow outwards. And outwards and outwards, and then it can multiply, and suddenly you're Dwayne The Rock Johnson and the whole world loves you and you love them back. But until then,
I love that though. It has to start small, because if you spread the energy, which it is too much, like it goes thin, right? It has to be like so compact and dense, and then you can learn to
I just feel like that may be a part of the upcoming curriculum. Maybe that's the structure of it, is starting small and accepting that, and then moving outwards with it. Because I just think too many of us are trying to reach so far outward without doing the work personally. And then I think what we're left with is a vacuum where something like social media can become so proliferate. That's not, I don't think proliferated.
I think we know what you meant though.
Yeah. Prolific. But it's just out there, and people are in that vacuum now looking for love everywhere and looking for more dopamine and more serotonin, and just going, oh my God, yes, likes, as opposed to going just like, maybe I should take a second and do this work that is hard. Maybe I should just work on me. And then if I want to share something,
be
cool.
So freaking loyal to yourself.
Be
so freaking loyal to yourself. That's something I'm still learning, right? I think if I could sum up the biggest lesson that, like, here it is for everyone to know this. I struggle with this on a daily freaking basis, being loyal to myself. I am the most loyal person to a fault when it comes to like my small circle of people, and other, situations, like to a fault, and once you're like, I'm like, what's his name? If you're in the circle of trust, and you're out here, Robert De Niro, he's like, what is it in Meet the Fockers? Like, that's me. Yeah. And it's to a fault though, because some of those people that I've let into the circle are not loyal to me, and so I have to realize that I tightened my circle, which is great. I put less emphasis on, letting myself get hurt, because I tightened my circle. And I also have to stay loyal to me, because I get hurt so deeply sometimes when I don't listen to myself. Like, I abandoned myself, not just in my love relationship. I obviously figured it out. Amazing. Congratulations. What? These lessons apply. I know. Hooray, me. I figured it out.
Oh my God, me?
Yeah, it's you. But these lessons apply, like, your coworkers, your friends, your family, you guys. You have to be loyal to yourself. You have to put yourself first. And I struggle with this all the time. So I'm doing constantly a check-in.
Yeah.
And if I'm not picking your brain about it and you're like, write it down. And I'm like, no, babe, but write it down.
Write it down. I'm busy. I'm busy. Love you.
And then
I got to take care of me, kid.
Oh, shit. Now I have to look at
Yeah.
it.
All right, let's go back to the comments. Where are we at? 17. Oh. Where are we at? Kelly, once I started healing. All right, there we go. All right.
There.
Cammie, stuck in help, 17-year relationship with 2 kids. Can't get out of the situation right now. Trying to deal actually sucks. I'm so sorry to hear that. And that is one of those really hard things. And I think that at that point you are in a situation where you're looking at, okay, well, what's best long-term for the children? We don't have kids yet, so that is outside of our scope in that regard. But with regards to you're gonna have to find those little joys, And I think we were talking the other day about that homemaker situation, right? I mean, doing that and giving so much love
to the kids, to the house, taking them to soccer, dance, all the things. I know you're a great mind. I know we've talked about this, but again, I think your lesson right now is to, obviously this sucks. You're in pain, but it's to even bring the self-awareness to begin to heal yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, I know the situation is probably a nightmare of a mess right now, like on so many, like logistically on so many levels, let's be honest. But what you can do for yourself day by day, just to keep the sanity and show yourself a little bit of love, even if it just means 10 minutes in the bathroom by yourself, wash your face, say a prayer, sing a song, whatever. It's those tiny moments that you're going to start to find respite and that you'll begin to heal and remember, your strength.
Yeah. It's again, it's looking for those things, looking for your personal strength. And the thing is, we could tell you a million times, that you're great and that this is that and that the other is, up is down and down is, it doesn't, whatever we say doesn't matter if you can't take that time, whether it's looking in the mirror and saying it or writing it down and going, what are the things that I like? And sometimes it's a really, remember, small. It starts as an atom. It starts as a single sentence on a piece of paper that grows. And I think that going back to social media, we're so inundated with constant memes and fucking quotes. And, as I read one time that I loved, if you're looking at Instagram right now, all of your friends are apparently either lions or tigers or wolves or some other animal that they're like, this is a lion is not affected by the opinions of sheep. You're like, okay, yes. However, though that feels really good in the moment to be like, I identify with that, you then have to take that and go, how do I identify with that? What do I identify? All the nerdy things that nobody really wants to talk about, like that's where the growth happens. Right. We used to have to find a mentor or read a book really break it down and be like, what does this mean to me? Like one of my biggest breakthroughs came from this book right here.
What's this book?
East of Eden.
Oh.
John Steinbeck. One of my favorite authors. It's a classic.
Oh,
sorry.
Don't die.
But I'm just saying that was only because there were some things in there that made me go, holy shit. And that was the year that I met you. And I was suddenly in this kind of turmoil of going, okay, there's some things I haven't looked at. Now I need to explore them. And why do I want to explore them? Well, because these things were here, but it wasn't just that I heard this one quote. That one quote may have sounded cool in the moment, but if you don't explore why that is applicable to your life, my point being, I think take that moment, start with whatever your atom of self-love and happiness and just that one little bit that's yours. Mm-hmm. Start there. Do that every day. It is not an easy process. It is not a short process. It takes time, but if we take that time, I think you'll be happier.
I'm glad you're here.
Super happy you're here. Claire, some love to my ex. Him and his kids were a big part of my life, but I'm not in love with the way he treats me. Love that.
Of course, yeah. Send the love, send the good vibes.
Yeah, send the love and send them on their way.
Yeah.
Somebody else's problem now. He's not part of my life anymore. Velvety. Maya is velvety. That's the best way to describe her. You guys are a lot alike. You click well. Thank you, Melissa. Well, we spent a lot of time together, so we tend to be pretty similar.
It's been a good decade.
It's been a good, little over a decade. And hello, journals, brutally honest, do look back. See, I love that, Claire. Mm-hmm. Brutal honesty in the journals. Now, when we say brutal honesty, also, I want to make this clear. Brutal does not mean mean to yourselves. And that's not what, Claire, I think you're doing, but I'm saying for all of us.
Be totally on the same page.
Just to be very clear, I just mean be authentically, genuinely, 100% honest.
Yes.
It's not about looking at me and like, you're so stupid. And I've done that too. I did that the other day with that situation where I think I talked about it on game night for a second, where a situation didn't go as we had planned. And I was writing and I was like, I just feel like I let everybody down. I feel like, and then I started continuing to type to make sure that I wasn't being too harsh on myself, but I was being authentically realistic about it. And I was like, and I know that I'm not this. I know that it doesn't have anything to do with this. I know this. I know this is good. And listing those things out just to be like, this is just the genuine nature of how I feel. It may not be uppity. It may not be down. It may not be any number of things, but it is true. And when I can look back at it, I wasn't like, you stupid idiot.
Right. But you kind of have to put, we all have a couple different selves inside, right? So we have like the adult self, the teenage self, the child self, a million other, but like I sort of divide my brain, my future self. And like, if I look at all those parts of me, and before I begin talking to myself, I decide, or writing things down with all of myself. I decide, who I need.
Therapy session.
Right. I decide who I need though, and I mean, that is a tactic I did not come up. I mean, I'm taking this straight from like the incredible therapists I've had over the course of my life, but in so many words, that's sort of, what I've gathered, all the gems I've picked up. I love that. And so I go, I need future old Ange, Nana Ange right now. Bring her in. What's she going to say? Because I need to be mommied right now. Like I need to be fully like Nana'd right now. And then sometimes I also need to be the adult and look at this little girl that's like, and I'm sad about this. And I need to, and be like, I love you. You're okay. Tell me how you feel, and then we'll talk about it. Yeah. Like you kind of have to be gentle with yourself in those ways.
I totally agree. Well, I mean, we've kind of played with the idea. Well, just sticking with this idea, we'll talk about dimensions later. But with that, we talk on the refinery a lot about the fact that there needs to be a place sometimes for the child version of yourself. And it's not in the sense of that is what takes over, but it's that you let yourself go back to that mindset of like when I'm singing songs and dancing in the house, like my morning songs, that's not like me as an adult being like, yeah, and I'm pretending to be a child. Like that would be so weird. Yeah. But it's just this kind of freedom of being like, I'm awake. What's up? Right. Here we go. And just that like fun little boy coming down, dancing down the stairs because I know it'll make her laugh, but it also just makes me feel fucking good to wake up in the morning, and especially when I'm in a bad mood, be like, I'm a grumpy soul. I'm a grumpy soul. And then it just like, you know what I mean? It just makes you feel better. But my point is you can access those. I'll say this. So when we were on the tour of Aladdin, I had a moment on stage that I love trying to make people break on stage, and making them break means break character, or laugh or catch them off guard. And I love it when one of my favorite things is when I can make the cast who has seen me do something 1,000 times, make them laugh and be like, what just happened? Especially the people I'm interacting with.
You are the most unprofessional.
Yeah, no, it's terribly unprofessional.
Thank God he's so talented. And
That's
can
very
pull
sweet.
It off, but
but I love doing that. And I, a couple of times, have had little mishaps. And when I have a mishap and I, lose the words or like go off script, then I usually leave stage and I'm like laughing hysterically because I just think it's so funny that like I just fucked up, because it's live theater. Like that's part of it. We've all seen Saturday Night Live and like shit happens. One night we're on stage and this is towards the end of the run, about 2 months, 3 months before the end of the run. And I go up in a very like open, it's just me in the middle of the stage. And I go up on my part and I also have like 6 or 7 more lines and I'm running back and forth across the stage and I lost all of it. And I kind of made something up, but something took over in my soul. And this is going to wrap back to what we're talking about.
Like, this is a long one, but I'm in.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
It is worth it.
And I remember the next night I was petrified to go back on stage. For the rest of that night, I was terrified to go back out because I was like, I'm going to forget everything. I'm going to lose everything. And only one thing got me through it. And it was looking at myself as I was before I ever met you.
Oh, yeah.
Because that little asshole was like, fuck everybody. Right. I'm awesome. I'm not going to mess up. I'm awesome. It is awesome. I was in this mindset being that young. It wasn't that I thought I was better than everybody. I just, it's youth. You feel invincible, but also I worked really hard on my craft all the time. And so I knew going in, like, I'm going to be able to get through whatever this is. And I had to turn on that part of my brain and go back to not this age, Colt, but 10 years ago and be like, okay, motherfucker, let's go.
It's funny you say that. I do that a lot to remember. I say, remember who you are, but I guess the goal is not to be who you were. The goal is to be a better evolved version. But sometimes I go to a place in my head where, I viewed myself or people viewed me. And so therefore I viewed myself as like this very overly, unbelievably confident person, very secure with myself. Or, there have times where I've struggled like with body image things. And I go back in a time where I felt absolutely beautiful in my skin, and it really had nothing to do with the way I looked. It's just like how you felt in that moment. And you like channel that.
Absolutely.
So I think.
Yeah. So it's just a part of that self-love that you're talking about. But I love putting it out there as sometimes when you're writing, when you're journaling, when you're trying to deal with an issue, the answers, them. Yeah. So how do you find the time, whether it's in your past or in your future, that shows you this is how I would deal with this? And we talk a lot about being the person you want to be, right? Mm-hmm. Because the only way to be the person down the road that you want to be is to be them.
Yeah.
That's it. And that was I would say that was the hardest lesson for me to learn, was that the man that I want to be doesn't exist. And it's not to say that there aren't really good men out there and really good people, but the one who is exactly what I want to see in the world in all facets doesn't exist. I have to be that person. And once I took the reins off myself, because how often do we look at the person we want to be in the future and say, well, I can never be that. Mm-hmm. So take the reins off of yourself. And I think when we take the reins off ourselves, when we take that mask off of ourselves, when we take those chains off, or that, tire we're dragging behind us, all our fucking luggage, all our baggage, when we take that off, suddenly we're free to be those people we want. Which leads me full circle back to what we started talking about, which is those exes. Are we in love with them, or do we just have a ton of baggage that's attached to them or that involves them that we're like, well, I've had this baggage for a while. Right.
The devil, is that the?
Yeah, the devil,
Not to say they're all devils, but you know what I'm saying. It's like some of them. But it's you're comfortable. You're comfortable because you already know that kind of, uncomfort. So it's like almost it's weird, that it's more comfortable for us. At least what you're getting into. Whereas like going out into the world in new territory, like you know what's ahead of you, right? Because the ultimate goal is to find love, like find love within yourself, but then, if you would like, find a companion, right? That completes that full circle. And we all know what goes into that. And you're like, God damn it, I don't want to go on those dates again. I don't want to open my heart again. Exactly. So we
start. So you're like, well, fuck it. I'll just take what's here. You know what? You know what love is sort of like? It's like cooking. Ready? Ready? Here we go.
I'm ready for this one.
Ready? Here we go.
Okay.
We're a society that's used to leftovers.
Oh, hello.
If we have to go to the store, pick out ingredients, especially if you don't know anything about cooking, then learn how to cook. But instead, it's just way easier.
Or get some fast food.
Like,
I
mean, it's so much easier than going through the process of getting all the things, learning about it, cooking, then having to clean up, then having to sit down. But when you sit down to a really amazing home cooked meal, suddenly you're like, oh, fuck, this is incredible. But it's just easier if we go out and get fast food, or if we just eat the heated up leftover pizza that's been in the fridge for maybe a couple of days too long, but fuck it. I don't want to go through the trouble.
Totally.
I can't believe I just turned that into an actual analogy.
That was awesome.
Courtney is here. Love these lives. Relax and watch them, even if I have to stay late with my tutor, Dan. Running to get a skeleton today reminded me of Colt when he said that he was running. Oh, that's so sweet. Did you mean a skeleton or like a skeleton onesie? I'm just...
both are good. Both are good.
I would really love to know, though, the skeleton was a model. Oh, so it could be a demonstration while sticking to social distancing guidelines. That's really smart. All right. So it wasn't a real skeleton. It's, Halloween, you never know.
You never know.
Everybody, I love that. Throwing Kimmy some love. That's what this community is about.
Yes.
Everybody, question to Colt. How do you work on your breathing whilst you are singing and dancing? FYI, I love the latest dance video on your Instagram page. That's very, very sweet. And T, thank you for the follow up there. I loved your last dancing video on Instagram. That is very, very kind. Well, I mean, I think it's honestly a question for both of us. How do we, because you talk about this in your first ever contract.
Yeah. So the first Broadway contract or Broadway show I did was my first musical ever, which is very crazy. Because I came from the ballet world, and I remember I was 17. It was Saturday Night Fever, and they were putting our mics on, and I was like, wait a minute. It just dawned on me in that moment. Contract signed, you go through all the rehearsals, but it wasn't until I was on stage and I realized, oh, I'm mic'd. I have to sing and dance at the same time. Musical theater, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You just kind of figure it out, but building the.
So for me, it's a little bit more intensive of a specific kind of regimen, just because, like with the song High Adventure in Aladdin, we had to run and do sword fights and sing on these very long held notes the whole time. And then you'd run more, and then you'd fight, and then you'd run more, and then you'd sing. And I remember the first time that we did that number, I was like, we got to the end and it was like, and it's high. We were just gasping, and especially because we were in Salt Lake City for the opening of the show. But what I end up doing is just, when I do my vocal warm-ups, I walk, I walk around, or I'll go outside and literally walk uphill while doing them. It's just like anything else. It's just a skill that you build over time, whether you're dancing on stage, I
mean, you really just, you whip me into shape with your boot camp of just being like, and now we're going to sing and run up the hill.
Oh, yeah. I do love that.
He's like, come on.
You gotta sing.
Yeah.
So that's how we do that. So yes, everybody, thank you for being here today. This is a really, really fun one. I know that we went off on a bunch of tangents, but shit, I
you
loved
guys
it.
don't forget to, I know pretty much everyone here, but if you're watching later, don't forget to follow us at colt.and.and on Instagram, because on our stories all week, every day, I'm going to make sure I have the question up where you can RSVP to the 1-year anniversary Zoom party on Sunday night. It's going to be so freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Find a costume or onesies. Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. Thank you guys for being here so much. Do us a favor, throw a like in the thing, throw a comment down below. You guys are all subscribed. We love having you here. You guys are the fucking best. Okay.
Love
Talk to you later. Bye.